Well, hello. It's Senior Mike again. A little bit of a different look to the podcast or to the video here. I'm sitting in my little studio for my simulation racing, which is going to be something I'll do another chapter in Senior Mike Talks About His Stuff at some point. Anyway, that's the look that you're seeing right now. So today's topic is planning for a long trip. How to do that. And I haven't taken a long trip yet, as you know. I've just been driving around town for it. I've had the car for about a month or so. And so let's talk first about range anxiety. Well, when I first got the car, obviously I was a little nervous and whatnot about running out of battery. So you find yourself, or I found myself, staring at the battery charge level and the range that it said. Mine was saying at 80% about 250 kilometers, and that didn't seem like very much. So driving around, and you get out and drive around for 5 minutes, and the battery goes down by 1%, and your eyes get big, and you start thinking. And then you drive around for half an hour, and it goes down by 10%. And I go, oh my God. So anyway, the first week was getting home, plugging it in again, getting it back up to 80%, etc. So I quickly realized after a few days, you're still doing that same thing, looking at the battery and trying to figure out what your range of your particular car is, and being nervous about it and whatnot. But after a couple of weeks, I said to myself, well, why am I plugging it in? Typically maximum I'd be getting down to 60% of the charge. Why am I plugging it in every night and getting it back up to 80? Did a little bit of research saying, what should I really be waiting for in terms of charging it up again, and kind of went down. People were kind of saying 35%. Wait till you get down to 35%, depending on what your commute is. Obviously, it might. I don't commute. I'm retired, so I'm just doing running around town or whatever I got going on that day. So a little bit less predictable. However, I didn't find myself ever getting down to less than 60% no matter what I did, including going for an hour-long drive to a golf game and whatnot. So, and it seemed like 35% was kind of like, wait till you get down that low, unless you know you're going to need it the next day or before you recharge. So I found myself, and now it's every 3 days, every 4 days is when I really plug it in to get it back up to that 80% level. So that's the first. So now, no range anxiety for around town whatsoever. I realized that 250 kilometers is 2.5 hours of driving at 100 kilometers an hour. That's a lot of driving. And around town, you get your regeneration from stopping and starting at lights and whatnot. One time, I think I've already mentioned, one time I went about 20 kilometers there and back, and my guessometer, and you know what I'm talking about if you watched the previous video, the range calculation on the BMW. The guessometer gave me more mileage when I got home, a range when I got home than when I left. So anyway, bottom line is I don't charge it till I get down to 35%. And I have never had it down. I panicked, and I was going to get it down to 10 yesterday, and I didn't know what I was going to be doing the next day, so I panicked and recharged it from 20 to 80%. And by the way, based on the last video, I was going to tell you what the time was. It was a 5-hour charge on my 240 plug to get from I think it was 18% to 80%, and my theoretical calculations showed it should have been 4 hours. And I am wondering if that is because I have a voltage EV charge device, or EV voltage regulator on the house. And I'm wondering, it was a hot day and an air conditioner was coming on and off. I'm wondering if I got throttled a little bit by that device, because I have 100 amp service, and I believe I'm wondering if the air conditioner on and the car on. It was about 4 o'clock when I plugged it in. I didn't plug it in overnight. It was about 4 o'clock, so I'm wondering if I got throttled a little bit, and that's why it took an hour longer than the theoretical calculation. So interesting thought. We talked about that device before. It's a device that monitors your draw from your panel, your electrical service. And I have a 100 amp service, which you could get a 200 amp service, or you may have 200 amps, which is a lot. And a lot of people are saying, oh, I have to upgrade to a 200 amp service, and that costs like $5,000 or $6,000 to get if I have an electric car. That answer is not true. You can have that device, and what that device does, or that box does, is it says, oh, you're drawing too much power. Let's throttle or downgrade the electric car for a while, let it take a little bit longer to charge so you can use the air conditioner or the stove or whatever it is that's causing that draw. Well, that saves you from 200 getting a 200 amp service and a $5,000 to $10,000 charge. So I digressed a little bit there. So that's range anxiety, but now is a whole different story. I'm planning a long trip. Definitely going to have range anxiety for the first time I do that. So how do you plan for a long trip? Well, you've got to decide. The trip I'm planning is to visit my sister in Kelowna. Hello, Anne, if you're watching. So 900 kilometer trip. The range of my car is maximum 350 to 400. I don't know yet because I haven't been driving it on the highway. So I'm not sure what consumption I'm going to have. But you heard the calculations and all that we talked about last video. So it's a 900 kilometer trip. Obviously, I'm going to have to charge along the way. So with my research, there's a couple things you can use. On the BMW side, and your car, every car probably has it. There's a trip planner in the for BMW. It's called My BMW, an app that does that, and we'll talk about that one in a minute. Why, for planning purposes, it wasn't perfect. In the sense of, I'll tell you why it's not helpful. But also, the databases in BMW are not quite up to speed in terms of what's really out there. So with my research and looking on blogs and whatnot, the best one I've found so far is plugshare.com. Excuse me. All the different public charging services have an app. You'll learn. Another thing you'll learn, and I learned already, is that to pay for it, you have to log into the app and pay for the service, for the electricity, and often you have to have an account with that app. So far, I haven't been to one where you can just use your credit card and go ka-ching, or tap, or whatever. So I haven't found those yet. Maybe I will along this trip. So many of them require you to have an account, deposit money into the account. And some of them, I've gotten 2 of them now, ChargePoint and BC Hydro. You can ask for a card, RFID card, so that it would just tap the, I assume, because I've done it once, and we'll try it with the BC one. I assume that you just tap the card onto the device, and it identifies you, says, okay, this guy's got $50, let him charge. So that's kind of the story there. So each one of those has an app, but they're all different apps. They do show all stations, but they highlight their own more and all this kind of stuff. So PlugShare is a third party, I believe, not affiliated with a charging network that I can see. And this is what I'm going to use, and we're going to see it together. So I've got it up on the screen. So the first thing you need to do is set your filters. And the first thing you set, I've got my car's identification here. It does not have my actual car. If you can see my mouse there, my actual car is a BMW i4 eDrive 35, which is a little bit smaller battery than the 40. I think that's getting about 20 miles or so, or 60 kilometers or so less range. But anyway, that only tells you what kind of plug you have. So there's a filter here for all the plugs. So we talked about plugs once before. If I hit the filter here, look at all the different plugs you can have. Excuse me. The CCS plug is what you've got in your car. For DC, which is the fast chargers. The J720, which is just the top part of this plug, is for, I believe, yes, that is for the top part of that's AC, and a wall plug, which is 110 volts. There's a Tesla plug. The Chatamo, which we've talked about before, is not used that much. There's a couple of different Teslas. There's the NEMA plug 1450 that we talked about, which is a 240 circuit, with like your dryer, etc. So let's get rid of all the ones we don't need. Don't need wall plug because we wouldn't do that on the road. We don't need all the Teslas. Don't need Chatamo, nobody uses that. Get rid of all the Teslas. Yuck, yuck, yuck. I don't know what Teslas. I'm just saying that. I should edit that out, I suppose. Okay, so those are the plugs. Now, which is a filter which is showing what's left when you take all that stuff out. So I guess we got rid of all the Tesla chargers. The other thing you set is your voltage. Now we talked about before, if I let's go down to 50 here. Look at all the chargers with the 50 kilowatt hour chargers, which is marginally better than what you get I shouldn't say marginally better, it's quite a bit better actually. 50 kilowatts delivers, you remember my car was delivering in my house 9 kilowatts per kilowatt, so 9 kilowatts per hour is what you're getting. For a 50 kilowatt direct current charging station, you would be getting 37 kilowatts into your car, pulling into your car. So that's is that 4? If I do my math right, that's about 4 times faster. Still long. You know, my 4-hour charging time yesterday would have been 1 hour. Still a long time to wait. But anyway, that's a possibility if you need it. But we're going to try to plan here for high-powered stations. See if we can make it between places. Boom. So there you go. And you notice all here, the icons all disappear in northern Alberta because there are no fast chargers around here. Quite a few in Calgary. This, for you Americans, is the route for the Trans-Canada Highway from Toronto to Vancouver. So there's a lot of stations on there. The Petro-Canada is a main gasoline station network, and they have committed to the Trans-Canada Highway to put fast charging stations all over the place. But they haven't committed to doing that. Up here where you see Highway 16, it's our second Trans-Canada route that goes in the northern areas. So they haven't, nobody's jumped on board to put fast chargers up there. There are Tesla ones. Just for fun here, I'll do that for you. The Tesla owners that are watching. Get rid of them. Let's just see Teslas only. Tesla Fast, Chatamo, Tesla Roadster, probably not too many of those. And that one. So there's the Tesla stations nearby. So there's quite a few. If you're driving across the northern route, you'll have no problems whatsoever. All right, so let me get back to adding my own. Get rid of the Tesla one. And the home chargers. Okay, so we're back to this route. Now you'll notice I've done something else here. So that's the filters for. Did I lose? I'm hoping you saw all that. I'm hoping you saw all that. Okay, let me just take a quick peek here. Yeah, you saw most of that. Good. Oh, now we gotta do it again. Just noticed that my video screen was my pretty face was on some of that stuff. That. Okay, so we're back to this. Something else that I set previously was the range of my car. So I set 2 things actually for the route. 8 kilometers is a maximum off my route that I want to look for charging stations. Not usually a problem because there's not very many around and off the main routes. And I set my range for 350 maximum so that I could 350 maximum, so I could say if I want to really go down to 0 almost, if I had to, that's what I would get. Okay, so up here I'm going to do the trip. Name is already there. Destination is Kelowna. So bear with me a little bit in the sense that I've never really done this before. You'll notice there's a big green circle. That is the 350 kilometer range. So it is saying that I could get past Calgary already. I don't think that I want to do that, however. That is would be risking it a little bit, I think. So what I think I'm going to do is put get a charge around Edmonton. around Calgary, sorry. So I'm going to hit that icon. Now I'll get rid of my camera and put this over here. So you notice I hit the icon. It says it's a fast charger, and PlugShare does a beautiful thing here. It gives me all sorts of information about that particular station. It gives me the address, how much it's going to cost, telephone number if I have a problem. How much it's going to cost is 50 cents a minute. So that is $30 an hour. Remember when we talked about the 50 kilowatt stations around Edmonton? I've seen them from anywhere from $11 an hour to $20 was the maximum I saw. So these stations are going to be at least 3 or 4 times faster. So that's why I want to do fast chargers. What else does it tell us? It tells us there's an app for it. As I said before, each third-party electrical supplier or charging station supplier has their own app. Often you'll either have to get their app to get on the charger. You will have to have their app to get on the charger. Somehow it's got to identify you. A few of them have multiple authorizations on the same. For example, the BC Hydro one works for ChargePoint and for Flow, FLO, which is a pretty big one in Canada. So I've currently signed on to 2, which is FLO and BC Hydro, and gotten cards for them. So that's that. It tells you what kind of plug-ins you have at that station. So Petro-Canada, you'll notice, does not have a Tesla plug or a wire. Tesla owners could charge there, but they would have to have an adapter for the CCS. You'll notice there's a CHAdeMO there. Again, that'll disappear someday because there's not very many CHAdeMOs out there. I should find out. I've been talking about that so much. I'll find out what cars used the CHAdeMO, if anybody has CHAdeMO left at the newer ones. It also nicely has a way of customers who have recently been to this station, what their experience has been. So let's just look at one right now. May 20th, today is May 23rd, so it's 3 days ago. This person's saying one of the chargers is down, charger number 2 failed twice, and I charged for about 10 minutes. It only gave me 39 kilowatts, and that's not very good. So, and it failed for a 3rd time. So when I hooked it up again, I got the charge rate of 225 peak. Perfect, so nice. Moral of that story, I guess, is if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. I've seen a fair amount of Petro-Canada stations that are down. So I don't see here, I have seen on this PlugShare that the Petro-Can would show up whether it was not available. The icon turns a little different. So that's one thing. And secondly, this one I haven't seen a indication whether or not the charger is being used. On some of the other apps, it'll show you whether it's available or not, meaning that there's nobody using that plug right now. So that's another thing to look for. What I would probably do once I plan my trip is I'll go on the Petro-Canada app and make sure while I'm there, while I'm in the route, making sure that planned location is up and running and whatnot. When I get close, obviously, I'll take a look to see if it's available. So anyway, okay, so we're going to drive. I did tell you that big green circle was kind of my 350 kilometer range. So I should have no trouble getting to Calgary. So I'm going to hit that, add that to the trip. Now my range jumps to Calgary, and there's my destination over here, Kelowna. I am not going to be able to get to Kelowna from Calgary because it looks like it's 600 kilometers. So I'm going to have to charge at least one more time. So let's just take a peek here. That's another one in Calgary. Let's try these ones. This is in Golden, BC, another Petro-Can. And this is at Revelstoke Railway Museum. Isn't that interesting? Let's just take a peek at that one. And what is it? I'm a retired railway person, so might be a nice place to go. It's a fast charger, I know. Let's see what, this is an Electrify Canada site. That is very interesting. I'm going to go to that because Electrify America big network. I've never seen an Electrify Canada one. Unfortunately for me, Electrify America, if you buy a BMW, gives you 2 years of free electricity if you want to buy a BMW. Doesn't apply in Canada though, unfortunately. So, how many stations does it have? It has one. Oh, this is very interesting. It has one channel mode, 7 CCS plugs. That's the biggest station I have seen so far. That is nice. So I'm gonna definitely check that one out. It's getting a little close to my end of my range though. So I'm gonna have to think about that one a little bit. Let's take a look at some of the comments. Not very big comments, although it worked. I don't know what the person said, 88 kilowatts. That's probably what the person got. It's not saying how many kilowatt hours he got. Another nice thing about this PlugShare site, it gives you pictures of what it looks like. Sometimes they're hard to find, these stations, especially if it's a small one with only one plug. There's a nice picture. Looks like it's in the middle of nowhere, however. So, does it even tell you what's around? It says shopping, excuse me, EV, parking, grocery park. Okay, so there's a few things around there. I don't know if it's really close. If you look at the Petro-Canada one we picked, let's take a look at that picture. Looks very nice. Let's take a look at that. Oh, there's a nice, oh, look at that. I didn't pre-plan this. There's a BMW parked at this one. That looks like a BMW SUV. Pictures, looks nice at night. There is what it looks like a little bit further back. There's the gas station in the background. Look at that, it's got an A&W. That'd be a good place to stop for lunch. So that helps you. That's serious. I'm serious about that because I will probably be there for a little while. It'd be nice to know that that's also a good place to stop for lunch. So that is a little too far away from me. I think I'm going to try this Petro-Canada Golden and see what that one's all about. It has 2 CCS plugs. That's nice. What are the comments? This one's very nice in the sense that I can look at these comments. Wouldn't initialize. The other one only gave me 40 kilowatts. That's not good. That was 5 or 6 days ago. Stopped here twice in the last week and it wasn't working properly either time. Really frustrating. Have successfully used many other passengers. Oh, that's not very good. Charger stopped after a few minutes. So this is not very good here. Kept shutting off. So I'm not really happy about this particular site. So I am not going to pick that one either. So I think I'm going to go here to Canmore. What have we got in Canmore? Let me zoom in here. I think there's more than one. We have the shops at Canmore. What's there? We have 7 plugs. That sounds good. Calgary to Canmore is not very far. It's about 45 minutes. But. The other thing I'm thinking about here for the first time is we only want to charge to 80% usually. So my 350 is actually pretty short. Anyway, we'll leave it at that for now because if you're going to run down to 10%, well, I'm going to leave the house with 100% obviously. So yeah, I'll get the 350. Now the question is, what am I going to get for range on a 80% charge? Because again, remember, charging from 80% to 100% takes quite a while, and you're paying by the minute here, you noticed. So I may not want to charge fully. So probably Canmore is going to be my plan here. And I like this Shops of Canmore station. So I'm going to add that to the trip right away. And let's see who else would we, just for fun. What else is it? Oh, there's another Petro-Canada one. And what does it say? Okay, it's got 2 plugs. And what are the comments here? 145 kilowatts on May 20th. That's 3 days ago. That sounds pretty good. So that one looks like it's working. That's a very heavily traveled route. I would imagine Petro-Canada would be very careful about making sure that one works. Look at how beautiful that spot is. Those of you who don't know Western Canada. This is in the middle of the Rockies, very close to Banff, Alberta. So yeah, that'll be a very picturesque stop. How beautiful that is. So anyway, okay, so our trip is planned, I believe. I've added the shops of Canmore. No, I'm gonna have to do Canmore. It's 500 kilometers too. Looking at the route here, if I do Canmore, what am I at here for range? Same just says it's 503 kilometers. I'm probably gonna have to use that one at Golden also. What did I say? There was a fancy one here. There's two at Golden Village Lodge. I bet you that one's not very many. Oh, that looks like a nice site also. Look at that. How many charges that? Who is this? Is it Electrify Canada again? I'm going to have to look into Electrify Canada, getting an account going there. So there are three. Here we go. If you look right in here, hopefully you've been able to read all this. It says three available, 4 in use. So that all those ones we were looking at where it said 7 available, that means nobody's plugged in. Right now, it's this website is telling me that there are 7 plugs, great spot, and 4 are in use. So that's great. The other one is a Petro-Canada one. So we have 2 big good options there. And Revelstoke. What did we say we had in Revelstoke? That was the one with the big. Oh yeah, I think I'll add that one to the trip. That was the one with the big set of So I'm gonna add that one. So there we go. So that's showing me we're done with our trip. No risk there. So for my first trip, I'm not going to risk. My wife will be with me. She'll be panicking like crazy when she sees the range we have left. So we are leaving Sherwood Park. That's not my address, by the way, but anyway. And we're going to drive, since we're going to leave with 100 kilometers or 100% charge, I should make it very easily to that Petro-Can in Calgary. There's a couple of stops along the way if I have to top up a little bit. Then we're going to drive to Canmore, another 100 kilometers. And from Canmore, 300 kilometers to Revelstoke. And then we'll have 200 kilometers to go. So we're going to charge 1, 2, 3 times for 900 kilometers. For people who are on the US side, that is 0.6 miles per kilometer. So that is, or 1.6 divided by 1.6. I'll do that for you right now. Happen to have a calculator. So just for you guys, I will do that this one time. 910 divided by 1.6 is 568 miles. So I could have probably, I could have probably done this with 2 charges, but we're gonna stick with that. Again, it all depends on how far I want to charge. Now, how do I do this? I gotta get this trip plan into the car. Here's one thing that the BMW or the navigation in the car will do. It will tell me how long I will have to charge at each of these points. So I might quickly do that for you guys to finish off this video. The downside I have of that is that those 2 apps, both my BMW in my phone and the navigation in the car, are going to assume I'm leaving right now and that I don't have 100% charge. So I don't like that. I have not seen where I can say, oh no, this is I'm planning my trip, I'll plan on leaving with 100%. So I'm not gonna do this whole trip planning the second I get in the car at 6 o'clock in the morning when I leave. So I think if anybody from BMW is listening, that would be a smart little addition. Say, if I'm planning a trip, if it's 100% that I'm leaving with, please let me use that software. Because it's very handy to say, okay, I'm leaving Sherwood Park. My first stop's going to be Calgary. How long am I going to have to sit there at this 200 watt station, 200 volt station to 200 kilowatt station? How long am I have to charge for? So once I get into the car, it'll show that. Okay, so we're going to do that. The other thing this app does, I forgot to mention, Plug Share will, if I save this trip, I'm going to save it. When I go on the app on my phone, this trip will be there. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to walk into the car and put these destinations into the car. You'll see that. All right, I'm going to sign out for now. And I'm recording with my wife's cell phone, actually, on a little tripod. So I told you before I did that trip planning on PlugShare. You could only do the trip planning on a computer from plugshare.com, but this is the app, PlugShare, and it does transfer the information to your app. So there's the trip we just planned from Edmonton to Kelowna, and I'm using this for the first time, so let's bear with me. So it's showing me the first station. I don't know what 5.6 means, but something. And it says the shops at Canmore was our second stop, and Revelstoke Railway Museum. And I bet you if I touch this, it gives me that same website. It shows you all the stuff. Oh, before I have to look at how much that Railway Museum charges. Parking is free. Oh, thank you very much. Different rates for how much you're sucking in. 0 to 190 kilowatts is 27 cents a minute. 1 to 350 is 50 cents a minute. I don't know what that Pass Plus, $4 monthly. Anyway, we'll have to take a look at that. Oh, it gives you a little, it looks like it gives you a discount if you have a pass, which costs you $4 a month. Anyway, we'll have to look into that. I've never looked at Electrify Canada stuff yet. So there's that. So there's our trip. So now I'm going to bring this into the car, and let's see if we can transfer this to our vehicle. Okay, so now we're going to try transferring this to my phone. I haven't shown you the My BMW app. I never really thought of doing this with two cell phones before. So you go to My BMW app. I'm not going to show you my PIN. There we go. Here's what it looks like. Maybe I'll do a special video just on this someday. But let's just talk about, we'll just go straight to the trip plan here. And where do you want to go? Let's say, oh, we already got it in there, Kelowna. All right, I'll view my route. And this is what it shows. All right, so what it does is that it shows how long I'm going to have to charge based on, oh, here we go. Look at it down here. Current state of charge, 76. So it's telling me I've got to go to a charge point station in 176 kilometers. Okay, if I hit that, what does it show me? So this is a good example of what the other apps have. So it tells me the charge port station is in Calgary. It's a 50 kilowatt place. It's what a combo one. That's what they combo one is what they call the charging station or the charging socket in the car. It's a charge point. It's open, and it's going to tell me here that I should charge there for 15 minutes. All right, that's that. What's the next stop on the route? This one's saying for 45 minutes, I go to the Shell station, and that is within 24 hours. It's another 50 kilowatt one. Kind of surprising it made me do that twice, but I believe it's because I didn't leave with a full charge. All right, so it's telling me I'm going to go there next. Sorry about that. Starbucks telling me something. Next, it tells me I should go to this one. Electrify Canada. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to grab the bottom here. What is it doing on me here? There we go. It's a 350. This one is, so it's probably telling me to do, it's probably telling me to do all these little stops to go only to 80% charge. What is it? Was it telling me to how far I was going to, how long I was have to spend here? Another 20-minute stop in Canmore. Where is it going to stop me next? That was probably that was the same a location I had planned already. It's going to say charge for 15 minutes. Where the hell is this place? And then on the run, that is a 150 watt combo. That's nice. I didn't see that one. On the run. I didn't see that one in the... Well, that's a golden one. In golden somewhere. Okay. That's true. We did see that one. So this being a lot more conservative, telling me to stop 15 minutes here and 15 minutes there. It must know my bathroom break time. So that was at 15 minutes. It says charge at 30 minutes. That's probably the one we picked. It's another on the run. So these are not the same stations that we have. Excuse me. Another 50 kilowatt one. On the run stores. I'm gonna have to go look and see. Okay, let's just see who the network is. It's not telling me who the network is either. So it's not giving me very much information about these stations. So that could be the same place, to be honest. And that's going to be 713 kilometers into my run, and it's probably going to let me go all the way there. But the moral of the story here is this one's this one gives me how long excuse me, I'm going to be charging at each place, which is kind of nice. Let's go back to the overview. So I said I started with 76. I will be at 18% when I hit the charge point 1. So I'm going to go from 80 to 30. I'm not so sure why I would go there. That I guess it's telling me I need, since I've only started with 76. That's my beef on the pre-planning of my trip. It'd be nice if I could tell this software I'm going to leave with 100% now plan my trip for me. So I'll take a look to see if I can find that somewhere. Then it's telling me 45 minutes. I'm going to get down to 12% at that Shell station on the other side of Calgary, by the way. See, what I don't like about this is it doesn't even give me very much information on this site at the overview level of where the hell I am. I mean, it's telling me up in the pictures, I guess. But it's telling me I'm going to charge from 12 to 80. It's going to take 45 minutes. Oop. Okay. Back to the overview. Then my next stop at Electrify Canada, which I believe was in Golden, it wants me to go from 18 to 60 for 20 minutes. And then a little top up from 18 to 50 at that spot somewhere else, and for 15 minutes. And I'm going to arrive in Kelowna with 14% battery. So that's interesting. Like I said, sure would be nice. Oh, wait a sec. Here we go. Planning options. I knew they were not that dumb. I'm going to say 100% to start off with. There. Start at 100%. Perfect. Now we're talking. So now let's see what our trip looks like. Not much different. A little bit different. All right. So it's telling me I'm going to stop in. I wish it would tell me in advance where I'm stopping. A little slow here, isn't it? I guess I can do it this way. Shell recharge. Where is that? That is the same spot for one of ours, so it's going to get me a lot further than the first time. That's Red Deer someplace, I believe. See, I said it'd be nice if it told. Oh, it's in Olds. That's very close to Calgary. I think. No, Olds is halfway between Red Deer and Calgary. So it says charge for 40 minutes there. Charge for 20 minutes. Let's just go. We know the places now. Let's just go to the overview. So Olds, Shell recharge. Now where are we here? I'm gonna get to the overview. Come on, come back. There we go. So charge for 40 minutes. I'll be down 25%. It wants me to charge to 80. Then it's charge in touchdown. Yeah, it's going to tell me that. Charge in Canmore for 20 minutes. And I need a quick little top up in Revelstoke, I believe. Or no, let's see what that is. quick little top up in Golden. And another quick little top up. Oh, two more little quick top ups. So that one's gonna get me 15 minutes there and 30 minutes for the last one. And I'll again arrive with 14%. So that saved me one stop, I believe. So anyway, it's very nice that it has this. So now it says send. I'm gonna send this, I believe, send that to the car. Destination sent. However, here's a big knock on BMW. It's going to send that. Well, we're going to go see what it's going to give me when I get in the car. But I know already it's not going to have. It's not going to show all these spots, or it's not going to show all those intermediate stops. Well, let's just see. Maybe I'm going to be wrong. Hold on. Okay, we're in the car, and you notice we are indeed at 76% battery charge, and it's telling me I have 240 kilometers on my guessometer. And now my navigation, let's go to navigation. It did indeed send my destination of Kelowna to the car. So I'm just going to say hit that destination, I guess. There's my route. Oh, sorry, I bounced around a little bit there. There's my route. And
please follow the directional info on the display and then immediately bear left.
Okay. So now let's see where it is telling me all these destinations. Now what do I do? So it's showing me that. Let me look at the car route. I'm just bouncing all over the place on you. Route overview. So Electrified Canada, sending that. 90 minutes. So see, look at this. It's giving me different places than I had in the app on the car. Now it's saying Electrified Canada at, God knows where that is. Let's just touch it and see what it says. Electrified Canada in Calgary. Wow. It's 310 kilometers away. How am I going to get there? I've only got supposedly 206. Let's see. Is that the first one? No, that's stop. Is that stop number 2? Oh, sorry. That's stop number 2. My mistake. So it's saying DC FLO meter in Red Deer. And it's saying charge for 51 minutes. Let's see if it will tell me anything about this. No, it doesn't tell me anything here about what kind of charging place that is. Let's go back to the route overview. And Red Deer. So it does not tell me how big a charge that is, or what kind of station that is. It is telling me 29, an hour and 42 minutes. I'm hoping that is the destination. How long it's going to take me to get there. Let's go back to route overview again. I want to give it an actual really good spot there. The last thing I'm going to do here, but then I knock on. I'm a little bit gonna knock. That's what I want to do. Knocking BMW a little bit here because I don't think their databases are that good for. I believe I've done this before. I believe I'm not going to be happy with finding this supercharging station in Red Deer. So I'm going to hit the button carefully here. Now there's a search here. $11 kilowatt. Where is that one? That search result is 143. Is it actually finding even a Red Deer spot? That's Calgary. These are all, see, it didn't actually look in, and it didn't actually look in Red Deer, I don't think. That's actually in Stettler, Alberta. Oh boy. So I don't like that very much. All this to say, I wish I could do, what I'm going to have to do, I think, is pick my charging spots and make them just destinations in the as physical destinations. So I'm not too happy about the integration there, and I think part of the issue is this this database that's in the car doesn't have the an up-to-date database of where all the charging stations are. I'm gonna fool around with a little bit offline and see if I can find that. Okay, I did find something. Just to be fair here, I'm gonna I found something. The sales guys told me always try audio voice commands first. So here we go. Hey car, find charging stations near Red Deer.
Just a moment. I am compiling the results for you. Which one of these 5 entries?
So that was a lot easier than doing it the other way, as you'll notice. So here it's finding 5 stations, it says. They're all only 6 kilowatt hours. So there's the big problem. There's a DC one, 10 kilowatts. That's not very good either. But it's not finding, let's just see, oops, go back here. That is a DC, oh, that's AC, hold on. Go back again. Oh.
I'm sorry, maybe I first need to learn that command.
Hey car, find charging stations near Red Deer.
One moment, I am looking for destinations. Which one of these 5 entries?
Okay, 6 kilowatts. The one that was DC here, that one. Oh my God. It's still listening, that's the problem. Gotta stop it from listening. I gotta start using voice commands is what I gotta do. Hey car, find charging locations near Red Deer.
I have found these destinations in the category Charging Station Red Deer. Which one should I select?
Scroll down.
Next page.
Where's the DC one that I want? Next page.
Which one of these destinations?
3.
Let's go.
Okay, so I picked that one because it was DC. Now, let's show me what it looks like there. Give me some information on this sucker. No. So I don't really know what that one is or how fast it is. It says 10 kilowatts, but it's DC, so it should be a little quicker. But anyway, so you see the problem here is that it didn't find the 50 kilowatt one in Red Deer, and I know there is one. I'll go prove it to you in 1 second. So a little bit of a knock here against BMW. It's not I don't think it's the best thing in the world here because there's too many different kinds of stations. Let's go see if we can find the 50 kilowatt one in Red Deer. So just to finish this off, it does back into the BMW app just to prove that the app and the navigation don't have the same databases. This is a stop in Red Deer, not the same location, and it's a 50 kilowatt charging station. Didn't find it in the app in the car. So not very good implementation here as far as I'm concerned. The app in the car doesn't have the same database as the app in the on the My BMW, and that makes it a little bit difficult because now I'm going to have to put this in. I'll have to put these destinations in by hand, and it won't give me the charging station. So that's a little bit of a knock on BMW. That doesn't work very well. The base problem is that the database in the navigation in the car is not up to date.